My name is Julie Green. I'm going to do a brief recording. This is just to explain to you that it's never too late to learn new things about yourself. And I'm nearly 60, and I'm always discovering wonderful new things about myself. This one is a bit of irony, actually. When I was a kid, I really was terrible at team sports, but I wasn't. It wasn't that I was unathletic. I mean, I had real good endurance, and I wasn't great at speed, but I had super good endurance because my parents took us up to the mountains all the time, and canoeing and hiking and stuff. But I really sucked at team sports. I mean, I was awkward. I was awkward at baseball, and I always got picked last for the team. I was real awkward at soccer, or otherwise known as football, and other parts of the world. That got misconstrued as social awkwardness, but it was not social awkwardness. But that was a bit of a misinterpretation that via the game of telephone, I suppose, got passed along and misunderstood. When it came time for jobs, while it was well known that I was not lacking in intelligence, I bombed out again. And people wrongly assumed, oh, it must be an attitude problem. Well, it wasn't an attitude problem. And people say, oh, she must be spacey. She doesn't seem to be able to follow directions properly. Oh, it must be an attitude problem. She's got a personality problem. Oh, maybe she just didn't show up properly. Must be some kind of depression. But it certainly wasn't. Again, that was a complete misunderstanding. It was very easy for psychiatry to take over and call it a psychiatric disorder. They labeled it whatever they darn pleased, whatever was convenient at the time, whatever made them the most money at the time. They called me schizophrenic simply because they didn't know what else to do, and later changed it to bipolar just to please my parents who didn't want to have a child who was called psychotic. I mean, who cares? It was all a complete misunderstanding. Psychiatry should just be abolished. There's no basis in reality to any of their claims. Looking back, why could I not do team sports? Why was I so clumsy at jobs when clearly I was not unintelligent? It wasn't that I didn't understand the job that these bosses continued to claim. That was wrong. And why also did I just was clearly quite relieved to give up driving? Well, somehow psychiatry completely missed the boat when they called me disordered. But when I got the label of with each label, I rewrote my past, and I was able to look back on my past, since I'm intelligent, and rewrote my awkward self to fit the label. So I looked back on the team sports days and said, well, I had a psych disorder, and that's why I didn't get along with my teammates. That's why I couldn't hit the ball with the bat, because of my psych disorder. I didn't do the job well because, I had a psych disorder, and that was why. But that wasn't why. That wasn't why at all. The answer is very simple. And really, if they'd just asked me, if they'd been listening to me all along, they would have known. But after all those years of psychiatry, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, with those 15-minute check-ins, and not even caring anymore, not even believing a word I said anymore, do you think anybody was going to listen to anything I was saying? No. You know what was wrong? And there really was something wrong. I can't tell my right from my left. Did you know that 25% of college students, they did a poll, 25% of college students and about 20% of professors can't tell the right from their left? I really can't. Now I can. After I think about it, I can. I actually, sometimes I look at my two hands and one looks right and one looks left, and so I guess. Sometimes I just play and guess, but it doesn't actually, I don't actually have a thing in my brain that, bingo, it clicks right away. I actually have to run a cognitive process that goes left, right, left, right, left, right until it clicks. So I actually have to think about which one is right and which way is left. I'm fine with maps. I can figure out a map. I'm very good with maps. I can figure out directions. I don't tend to get lost, but you tell me right and left, and I will blank out. I will blank out. And that kind of explains all of it, doesn't it? It does. And and now they finally recognized it, and then as a matter of fact, they finally developed a test of it for it. They finally developed a test for it in the year 2006. Guess how old I was then? 48. For those of you who think you have a psychiatric disorder, I was totally convinced. Think twice. Why were you really put in there in the first place? Was it for convenience? You may have been. I didn't realize I was being put in for convenience, just to shut the kid up, just to please her. Because it can be done. Because we can take her money. Because she is of use to us financially. You know, it may be nice and cozy now. You get the services. You go to the appointments. You get the drugs. That's fine. 10 years down the road, it ain't going to be so fine. Your insurance isn't going to pay for that anymore. It's going to be state or nothing else. The drugs are going to do you in, ruin your organs. Then you can come running to me and say, hey, it's state or nothing else. I'm losing my housing. My family ain't around no more to defend me. My husband divorced me. What now? It's time to take a look at our lives and say, is this what we want for the rest of our lives? Endless appointments, in and out of the hospital, sick. Or do we want something else for our lives? Get out now while you got the chance. Do something with your life. You don't need to rewrite your story to fit this diagnosis they're giving you. Instead, choose to be the person you always were. Be that person. Live that life. We can do this. And if each of us does that, if each of us chooses the path I call it non-compliance, but just chooses the path of refusing to accept someone else's definition of who you are, and instead self-defines, then we're well on our way to turning it around. Thank you. Bye-bye.